Hello everyone, this is Club 10M Plus's exciting new podcast that's here for you. We are all about stories, new developments and learning about individuals. Our hope is that you will join us every week to hear about our distinguished guests. We hope to inspire you, bring you laughter and make you reflect. Our guests come from all walks of life and primarily they want to share their stories. Not sure about you, but I love a good story. So Club 10M Plus have devoted their time to creating these podcasts, to sharing great ideas and stories and much more. So tune in every week to make sure that you don't miss out. It could be you next week. Want to know more? We want to hear your stories. So sign up and be our next guest. Hi, Ray, and welcome to Your Pitch to the Panther. And I'm super excited today because Ray's one of these interesting characters that life just happens for him. He's an entrepreneur, and what's exciting, he's going to tell us all about hedge fund management. I'm hoping that's correct. And welcome, Ray, to today's program. And you're going to go through the success and give us some three-step guide, I think. I look forward to that. So over to you, Ray. Just give me a little bit of, tell people, how you even got into this and give them a 30-second quick, how did I do this?
Absolutely, Krista. Thanks a lot for having me today. And yeah, very excited. So as you mentioned, entrepreneur at heart, when you combine that with finance, you go with the emerging manager route. And I basically have two other partners in the firm, Seb and Chris. Funny story, we met in LA. I could tell you everything about it, but it's a bit long. So we're in there together, three partners, the executive team. And basically we've decided to start our entrepreneurial journey in finance with a hedge fund strategy. So as you mentioned, it's not easy, but what's easy today, right? So one thing that a lot of people talk about and that I want to give a tip on is the performance of your strategy. Performance is absolutely something crucial, but when you're an emerging manager, it's a little bit different and it can be almost irrelevant. Let me explain. So of course, if you don't have good numbers, you don't have a good performance, nobody's going to look at you. That it's not even worth it. But when someone looks at you, an institutional investor, a family office, for a first ticket, for a sitting, they look at everything but the performance. So basically you can have the best return, the best performance, but if you don't have a good governance, if you don't have good service providers, if you don't have a vision, if the team is not there, if you don't have an exit plan, there's not going to be a deal. And in the end, what an investor...
I'm just going to butt in here. So you can't actually get a deal unless you have got all of the partners in place. This is what you're saying, aren't you?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's a chicken and egg situation, right? Nobody wants to put if you don't have the partners, but if you don't have anything, nobody's going to come with you. So it's a fair deal of jungling with everything. And basically what an investor is really looking for is consistency in your investment strategy, a robust risk management process, and of course, what's your edge as a manager? So we always use this example of the Russia trade that we put on end of January. We went short Russia way before anything happened. And we literally closed the trade 2 days before the RSX, the Russian ETF, was suspended. And when I tell that, everybody's like, how did you do that? What happened? And I just go over the process. I just explain the investment process. And I just explained that, the risk management told us, be careful at the beginning of 2022, just trusted it, followed it. And that's really important because if you trust and if you can explain your investment process with your clients, you can explain why your trade is on and be completely transparent about it. They find someone that they can trust. So that's a really important thing. Performance is great, but it's just the surface, really, scratching the surface.
So I'm going to pick up on the trust aspect. That goes right through business, doesn't it? If you don't trust anyone, you're not going to buy, sell, or even talk to them. So key element on that is people trust you because they understand what you're doing and because you explain that risk management to them. That,
Exactly.
listen, we've been going a while, we know what we're doing. But more importantly, it's important that you trust what we say to you to do what you're advising them. So I like
Absolutely.
that. I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's important too, especially in this time, in this sort of
Abs-
climate that we're in.
Absolutely.
So
And
so that's like the investment strategy.
yeah.
Yeah. So how about, you said something about building a team. Now, how do you go about doing that? How do you go about getting a team together? Because that's important. You've got to have the right people around you. I mean, I'm thinking of Richard Branson right now. He
Exactly.
has the vision, but what does he do really well is he builds the team, and he builds the right team as well to
You're
execute
completely
what he
right.
wants.
You're completely
Mm,
right. And especially when you're an emerging manager, an investor will buy your strategy, but first of all, it buys for a company, a team, a dream, and a vision, as you said. And when you're not coming out of a big bank, prop trading desk, you're basically nobody, right? If you're not out of Goldman, you're just three guys in a garage. And you might have the best investment strategy. Nobody serious is going to buy into three guys in a garage. It's what it is. You mentioned it. And also, all the multinational companies, Richard Branson, hedge funds or not, they all have a board of directors, right? They all have great corporate governance. And if you want to get there, you need the same thing. So that's why having a board of directors from the get-go, especially as emerging manager, it's kind of turning the pyramid upside down, but it's absolutely crucial. And also it forces you to start with the end in mind. I know where I want to go. I need that. I'm going to put it now. And, we're fortunate enough to have some of the best individuals in the industry. They have more than 150 years of experience, and they all have been of tremendous help so far. I mean, it's already difficult if you have a team. It's just impossible. And also, one thing as a manager on the market in general, you have to be humble. We always joke about it with the board. It brings a bit of gray hair in the team, but that's the truth. You can't buy experience. Our board members have made tons of mistakes in their lives, and that's why they're successful. And we're here to
yeah.
learn from their mistakes.
Mm,
If we do even half of their mistakes, sky is the limit. Just for
yeah.
example, our chairman, he was the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the UK, took the company public, took it private, and took it public again. I mean, talk about experience and credibility, right? So that's what we did. We've built a dream team to support us, help us achieve our vision, because we're the executive team, we're executing on the vision, but the board is there to help and support. And when we discuss with potential investors, family office, they're always impressed. And just a funny anecdote, we're talking with one of the biggest family offices in the world, and the chairman was like, guys, I gotta say, I'm a bit jealous of your board of directors. And we were like, wow, the guy's at the head of one of the richest families in the world, and he says that, so it shows that you have the same mindset and people are going to take you seriously. So yeah, great corporate
And
governance is great.
that also goes back to that trust element. And I
Yeah,
mean, having that, I guess, if anything, it boils down to, who do you trust? How can you
exactly.
trust? It's
Exactly.
money we're talking about here. And that's quite
Yeah.
emotive for some people. But when
Mm-hmm.
you've got a family office jealous of your board of directors, you've hit the nail on the head, I think. I'm
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
impressed with that. That is impressive. So, yeah, it's good to hear and good to know
Mm-hmm.
as well. So, not everyone's going to want to follow and do what you do, but this
Mm-hmm.
is really good for an investment of any
Exactly.
kind, really.
Yeah.
You've got this and you have these relationships that you can build on. So
Mm-hmm.
let's go up a key then to, we touched on governance. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that's, so you're talking about vision, you've talked about the strategy, the investment strategy that
Mm-hmm.
you've got to have, taking the risk out of managing money
Mm-hmm.
is very important. So what is the most important thing you would say for governance? Let's go there.
That's a really good question. And I really think that it's the company values that you want to put in your companies, because as an executive team, you have a vision for the company, you execute, and like every founder, the company is your baby, right? And what's absolutely not intuitive for emerging managers, and it ties back to what we were talking about, is that before being a portfolio, a fund manager, a trader, call it whatever you want, you are a company. And it means company values, company culture, governance, service providers. And, from the beginning, we've been living by our three, I would say, corporate values that are transparency, accountability, and open-mindedness. And, between you and I mean, it's not a secret, but the finance industry is frowned upon for the lack of transparency, the lack of accountability. I mean, Wall Street is the only industry where when you lose your client's money and your fund blows up, you're still getting paid. That's crazy. And we want to change that. And of course, the board of directors, they're here to make sure that everyone is accountable, from the intern up to the CEO. And as you said, if you want to be taken seriously by investors, if you can't trust someone, if you're not transparent, if you're not accountable to your mistakes, it goes well beyond money. It goes well beyond business. It's, who are you as a person? Can I trust you? Can I trust you? And one big part of that too, just to add a few points for your audience, is the service providers. Which service providers are you looking at? Because when you launch a fund, when you launch a structure, you need a prime broker, right? You need a custodian, you need accountants, you need auditors, you need lawyers, you need all of this. And family offices and institutional investors in general, basically, if you don't have the best ones, nobody's going to look at you. And that's a challenge for an emerging manager because, well, frankly, because of the costs. So, but, it also ties back. If you have enough leadership, enough passion, and you can sell them the vision and the trust, you can pretty much get the best of the best for.
So I guess finally, the things that we really need to take away from this, Ray, just give us at least even one thing that we should know and learn from this, so everyone can have a takeaway, as I call it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one thing is transparency. You need to be transparent all the times, and you do that with your company values, your service providers, and the great corporate governance. Accountability, you make a mistake, fine, just say it to the board, to the client, to your teams. And finally, it's not going to be easy, but the reward is there, and once it usually goes exponentially.
Brilliant. I love that. Thank you so much, Ray. Really appreciate the time today. And we might have overrun, but I think there were some real nuggets in that. So thank you again.
Thanks to you.
Hello, everyone. This is Club 10M Plus's exciting new podcast that's here for you. We are all about stories, new developments, and learning about individuals. Our hope is that you will join us every week to hear about our distinguished guests. We hope to inspire you, bring you laughter, and make you reflect. Our guests come from all walks of life, and primarily, they want to share their stories. Not sure about you, but I love a good story. So Club 10M Plus have devoted their time to creating these podcasts, to sharing great ideas and stories, and much more. So tune in every week to make sure that you don't miss out. It could be you next week. Want to know more? We want to hear your stories. So sign up and be our next guest.